You're stuck at home in quarantine. 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Great to see everyone. I hope that you will pull up a chair and have a drink with me this evening. It's a rainy Friday afternoon in Boston, but keeping spirits up and looking forward to having a cocktail tonight. And as is my new tradition, I've now started kicking off Friday night with a little 50-50 Amaro shot. And so today I'm going to be kicking things off with a hard start, which is one of my favorite 50-50 Amaro shots. And this is going to feature Fernet Branca and Fernet Menta. Equal parts in a glass. Give it a little stir. And then I am good to go. Fernet Branca is super sort of deep herbal, menthol, cola flavors, and then the Branca Menta is even more mentholy, which gives it a really interesting flavor. And one of my favorite stories of all time in the cocktail world features this shot, having it at its birthplace, the Grand Army Bar in Brooklyn, by its creator, the bartender and the owner of that bar, Damon Bolte. And I was there in this bar and got this shot with my good friend Ben Levesque, who's here in the chat, and we're going to see if we can get him in as our special guest for today. So let's take a look to see. Go live with Ben Levesque. Waiting. Connecting. Hello!
Hey! How's it going, Ryan? I'm good. Can't complain.
Amazing. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are things with you on this lovely Friday?
Love it. Now, what is your recollection of having this hard start at the bar in Brooklyn when we were there for a math conference?
Oh, do you want me to tell the story as I recall it?
I do.
Okay. So I believe we had just gone and got something to eat at the math conference. Mm-hmm. I think it was just me and you because everyone else bailed on us for some various reason.
They're lost.
And we were walking back from dinner, which I believe we just ate a whole fish that was just grilled.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right, like a whole fish. And I remember you turned to me and were like, do you want to go on an adventure? And I had only known you a little bit at that point, maybe just like almost a year, like 6 months or so.
Sure.
But at that point, I still knew when Ryan Kelly asked you to go on an adventure, you absolutely say yes. So I was like, sure, why not? And then you took me to this random hole in the wall bar. You're like, I've never been here. I've heard about this place. Let's go in. And you prefaced it by talking about this guy who supposedly owned the bar, who you,
yep.
Yeah, yes, who you had like been following and listening to or whatnot. And so we walk into this tiny little bar, mm-hmm. And there's this guy behind the counter with a floppy hat and pigtails down to here. It was like they were like, it was the giant beard, pigtails. It was phenomenal. So we walked up to the bar and you're like, do I have 2 of these? Whatever, the hard starts. And he looks at you and goes, 2? And I'm like, no, 3. So we all got a shot of that. And I just was thinking, like, this is some strange, weird bartender at this bar. And, cool. And then so we had the shot, we thanked him, we walked out. And then afterwards you were like, that's the guy. I was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, that's the guy, that's the owner, he's there. We just had a shot with him. Like, you were very excited. And I was very excited because you were very excited, even though I knew nothing about this gentleman. But yeah, it was definitely an adventure.
Legendary.
Definitely.
Love it. So we had it at the source. It was amazing. And I will always have that memory, and I'm glad to share it with you, Ben.
Yeah, I'm glad I was there. It was so much fun.
How are you doing? How is your, this has been spring break for you. How is the week? Obviously not your traditional or typical spring break, being that we are forced to stay at home, but how has the week been?
The week's been fine. Haven't really been doing much other than playing a lot of video games and building some puppets. I am, in fact, a puppet builder.
I saw you got some new supplies.
Yes, I got some specialty foam in that I had ordered and stuff. So I'm making something. This is for RPC's upcoming production of Seussical the Musical, which was supposed to be next month, but unfortunately, as we all know, is not. So, but still trucking along with the puppets. So those will be done extra early, and yeah, it's been about it. Doing some of that, doing some writing for some potentially upcoming podcast projects. But you know, just trying to take it easy.
Incredible.
And enjoying a cocktail at 5 o'clock.
Yes. For those in the chat that don't know, for those in the chat that don't know, Ben is an amazing performing arts teacher and also an accomplished puppeteer. And so he's working on those projects. That is so fun. I saw a movie today. Have you seen the movie Good Time?
No. How was
my friend Keith recommended it. It's by the same people that made the movie Uncut Gems, which is that Adam Sandler movie that came out at the end of last year. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Oh, you froze on me.
I've heard much about it.
Are you there?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So do you know Uncut Gems? Do you know?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know a little bit.
Well, both of them have very much the same tone. So if you watch either of them, be ready for like a really kinetic experience that is just like really, you just like are really anxious the whole time. Like it never lets down. There's no slow parts. Everything is just like, is he really doing that right now? And like, how is this going to turn out for like 90 minutes? It's crazy.
Interesting. You have to check this out.
I highly recommend both of the movies. They're both really great.
Okay. Sounds great.
So you ready to make a cocktail with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. So we're making the Boulevardier tonight. A lot of people associate the Boulevardier with the Negroni. It's essentially just subbing out the gin for a bourbon or a rye. It's unclear whether that was like, there's such like a clear line for the like, oh, I'm just going to change this Negroni. I think at the time, a lot of people were just playing with the ingredients. And Campari, sweet vermouth, and bourbon or rye would have been like a natural combination. We do know that it was created in Paris by some Americans. And so the person who gets credit is named Erskine Gwynn, who is actually a descendant of the Vanderbilts. And so he has all this money. He's this rich guy, and he is traveling all around the world and doing all this different stuff. And him and his friends started a like somewhat short-lived literary magazine called the Boulevardier, which was a magazine in Paris, is sort of like the New Yorker is now, about all of their exploits. And it was only around for a few years. It did get some pretty high-profile authors. I think Ernest Hemingway has a piece that appeared in there, but yes, per Helen, he was a scion of the Vanderbilts. Correct. That is correct. Nice use of today's vocabulary word, by the way, is scion, which I didn't know earlier, but now I know is like a descendant of a family or an offshoot. In any case, he gets credit for creating this cocktail because he drank it often and asked for it at Harry's American Bar in Paris, which is a very famous bar, which was owned by Harry McElhone. And Harry McElhone wrote a very famous cocktail recipe book in cocktail history, which was called Barflies and Cocktails, which was published in 1927. And one of the things that was unique about this cocktail book was that it had a whole section of recipes from regulars at his bar that just loved these different cocktails. And so he credits Erskine Gwynn for the Boulevardier in this cocktail book, and then it is taken off from there.
Interesting.
Now, in that book, in that original recipe, it had equal parts of bourbon, sweet vermouth, and Campari. But modern palates, myself included, my own included, like to up the rye a little bit and do a 2-to-1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
Do you dabble in Boulevardiers on your own? I feel like it's your type of drink.
I do, yes, I do enjoy a Boulevardier. I think I first heard about it from you, but yes, I definitely do love the Boulevardier because I love Campari. Like I love the bitterness and stuff, and I love the whiskey. So yeah, when you told me about it, I was like, wait, a Negroni with whiskey? That actually sounds right up my alley.
Absolutely. And there's another closely related cocktail called the Old Pal, which is basically a Boulevardier but with dry vermouth instead of sweet vermouth. But I prefer the sweet vermouth. The Boulevardier is one of my favorite all-time cocktails. So let's make it.
Let's go for it.
So let's take our mixing vessel, whatever it is. Add a little bit. And I'm going to take 2 ounces of my rye. What do you have for rye or bourbon? I'm using written first.
I'm going all the way. I did go to get some for a party about a month ago, and Blanchard didn't have any, and it made me very, very nervous and very upset. But then they restocked it like the next week. But I was like, oh no, oh dear, did they stop carrying it, whatnot? And but I got it, so
that's scandalous.
It was. I was very, very nervous. I was very nervous.
All right, now we're gonna do 1 ounce of Campari.
Yeah.
And 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. I'm for this going to be using my homemade sweet vermouth. What do you have for sweet vermouth?
Oh no, I was afraid you were gonna ask. I'm so embarrassed right now. I'm so embarrassed. I had some Dolan, which is not good sweet vermouth, but it's like okay sweet vermouth, right? A couple of weeks ago, I took it down to visit my parents because I knew they had nothing to make some cocktails, and so I took it down. And I literally just 5 minutes ago, before we got on this, went to find it, and it wasn't in there. And all I'm left with is this travesty of Gallo, which is $4 a bottle.
It'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
I was contemplating just not putting it in because I was like, I don't know how Ryan's going to feel about a $4 bottle of sweet vermouth. But, you know.
Hey, this is quarantine. We make do with what we have.
That's good.
All right. 1 ounce of that. I'm going to grab some ice.
So, per Stanley Tucci, we're going to shake this drink, right?
No. Oh, my God, Stanley Tucci. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Sal and I were rolling on the floor laughing yesterday, you talking about his Negroni exploits.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Scandal of the century. All right. And I will serenade us with some stirring music.
Yes! So you don't have a particular number of stirs for this drink like you do for your old-fashioned?
No, I like to go for around 30 seconds or so, give or take. I know some bartenders like to do like 30 in each direction. That's like I think a Japanese thing where like Japanese bartenders will, even though it doesn't make any scientific differences, they do an artistry about it.
Yeah.
All right. And we are going to strain. I'm going to strain on just like one big cube. I don't know what your ice situation is.
Okay, so yeah. I should probably go. Yeah, I'm gonna grab one. See. I noticed you have the really nice sphere mold that makes like a perfect sphere. Mine like makes it's like two parts, so I always have this little lip around the side.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah, I haven't had these for too long. I got them a few months ago, but they've been really good. I can send you a link. But it's basically
Okay,
just
cool,
like
yeah.
a little. I don't know. It's very nice.
Yeah, a nice perfect sphere. Okay, so I've been meaning to ask you this question. In a lot of recipes, I've seen pour into a chilled wine glass.
Oh, yes.
And I've never seen you chill a glass. I know there are various ways. Do you ever do it? How would you do it? Do you just like, whatever? What are your feelings about chilled glasses?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pro chilled glass. It preserves like the integrity of the temperature of the cocktail a little bit better. And you really have two options. One is to, like, as you're making the drink, put some ice in the glass.
Yeah.
Option 1B would be put some ice in the glass and then fill some water in it so that it gets a little like colder from the increased contact with the actual glass. And then option 2 is to put it in the freezer for a few minutes while you are making your cocktail. So yeah, I'm pro. I would say I'm maybe not in the habit as much as I would like to be in doing the chilled glass, but you're right. That is like a standard practice.
Okay, cool. So throwing it in the freezer is okay. I did that a couple times and I wasn't sure. It's like, is that a no-no? Because I've only ever seen them do like the ice and the water in bars, but I was like, you can't throw it in the freezer. Okay, good. Good to know.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. All right, for garnish, I'm just gonna do like one strip of orange zest.
Cool.
And we will express the oils over the top. Rub it around the rim. I like to give it a little slap like that. And then drop it in. And we have the Boulevardier.
Yeah. It's good.
Cheers.
I'm very excited. Cheers.
What do you smell?
Definitely smelling a lot of herb from that Campari. I got the orange. The orange is hitting me right there. Yeah, basically like the herb and the orange.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like on the nose I'm getting mostly the Campari and the orange. Give it a taste.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, that is a great drink.
Yeah, I feel like the 2 to 1 to 1 is like just right because I feel like you get a little bit of the spiciness from the rye that would be that would just be overpowered by the Campari and the sweet vermouth otherwise, and it holds up just fine because the Campari has such a strong flavor to it. And I feel like I'm still getting the like botanicals from the sweet vermouth also, which is very nice.
Yeah, definitely. It would be better if I had a little bit of a better vermouth, but that's okay. I do like a Boulevardier more so than a Negroni. Just, I don't know. I really like whiskey, and I think the whiskey really holds up well with the Campari. A lot of people might disagree with that, but I really enjoy that.
I agree with you. Yeah, no, I prefer this drink also to the Negroni. Yeah. Excellent.
Very good.
All right, Ben, do you have anything on the docket for this weekend?
This weekend, no. Well, okay, so, well, my nerd is going to be showing a little bit, but I do have a my one appointment this weekend is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign appointment with a couple friends of mine, who I shall remain anonymous to protect their identity and their nerdiness. But just recently got into that. I've been really enjoying that, actually. I'd never really done it before, but I had a friend who was like, we're in quarantine. Let's just do this online. And so that's my one big adventure for this weekend. How about yourself?
Incredible. I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't really have any plans. I think I've heard tomorrow is going to be weather-wise the best day. Like it's real rainy today and then Sunday also, but tomorrow we get some slightly clearer and nicer weather. So we've been wanting to try to get some of the patio furniture out. So I might try to attempt some of that tomorrow, but
Nice.
otherwise just taking it easy like we do every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, back to work on Monday. We're off vacation. So.
Yep, indeed. All right, then. Well, thank you so much for joining me and making a cocktail with me.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun. Appreciate it.
5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
Cheers, Ben. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you can do it, bud.